Welcome to another biblically based look into today's news from Christian Voice New Zealand. Now here's Mike Bain.
You know, new people, when they come to live in our country, always question, why do we do things the way we do? But with fresh eyes, they'll look at things we take naturally for granted. You know, I recently spoke with such a man whose family immigrated to New Zealand a short while ago. We had a discussion about several things, but one of the questions which floored me was when he asked, should a Christian sing the national anthem? My response was, yeah, of course. It's a prayer to God. It's really the only thing we have left in a secular world. Why wouldn't we? Well, he then started to explain his reasoning, and he talked about the author, Thomas Bracken, who wrote it as a poem. And later it was put to music by the Lawrence choir master, John Woods. Turns out Thomas Bracken was a member of the Freemasons. Well, as yet, I haven't been able to establish to what degree he was, but he was a Freemason nonetheless, and we know as Christians that Freemasonry has been known to worship the devil. Freemasons, of course, would scoff at this point, but then they would. So, going back to my conversation, he then explained about what Lucifer's role was in heaven. He was a guardian cherub of the angels. He was given great power and influence. He was referred to as Lucifer, the morning star. We're all familiar of how Lucifer became Satan and had free access to and from the heavenly realm. Hopefully we all know that in the book of Revelation, Satan was cast from the heavens and the door was firmly shut. We read in the Bible where Satan is often referred to as the ruler of this world, and over in Matthew 4, there's the account where Jesus brought Jesus up and showed him all the kingdoms, that's the political powers of the world. He said, all this I give you, he said, if you'll bow down and worship me. You know, Satan couldn't offer what he didn't have, and we know that he had it. So my conversation continued about the national anthem, the first line, God of nations at thy feet my man recited. Given the historical background of the writer Thomas Bracken, which God are we referring to with these words? And the question is posed, at whose feet do we worship? Remember Satan's words to Jesus? All this I give you, he said, if you bow down and worship me. Is it the God of the heavens, or is it the God who rules the nations of the world? Then the next bit, in the bonds of love we entreat. Well, when you look at the state of this nation, would it be fair to say that it has become bound and in bondage to Satan? When we talk of a bond, there are many definitions, but bonds and debts, if the issuer doesn't pay back their debt, then the bond is in default. However, the issuer of the bond can call for a higher interest or a payment to be made. We're certainly not in bondage to the God of heaven, as Jesus Christ repaid any debt on the cross. I've had this same conversation with pastors and theologians. Following a period of silence, their reactions have been different, from, oh, it's worthy of consideration, to, oh, I'm not prepared to draw a line in the sand over it. But the common response was as to whether Thomas Bracken authored the poem God Defend New Zealand before or after he became a Freemason. And if he wrote it as a Freemason, what knowledge did he have about the practices? One suggested that if God could use an ass to speak for him, why not a Freemason? Indeed. As a Christian organisation, we've used the national anthem at all our presentations and on podcasts. But this question has made us reconsider whether we should use it, and we've decided not to in the interim. You know, I've always pondered as to why in a nation which has rejected God, but when the All Blacks are playing, we hear so many people in the crowd singing the national anthem with passion. But I ask, which God is it that they're asking for protection from? Secularism today fears and rejects the word of God and have banished it being taught in our schools. It rejects the premise that there is a God, and they reject the worship of the God of heaven, the creator of the earth, being acknowledged in public. I can only assume when they stand and sing passionately, it is indeed the current God of this nation that they're asking to be their protector. Well, based on the evidence, should Christians continue to sing the current national anthem? You know, I'm not so sure. What are your thoughts?
Thank you for watching. Help us to spread this message by sharing it within your own network. If you want to see more messages like this one, simply hit the subscribe button. For more information about our work, or if you're moved to donate the price of a cup of coffee, jump online to our website, ChristianVoiceNewZealand.com.